show today, guys. We've got some major changes taking place in the White House involving Elon Musk and Trump and Elon's possible exit from the Doge team. Guys, things are getting serious. But think of it like this. It's a good serious. So Elon Musk has been in charge of the Doge team, working with all the federal departments in order to try to expose the fraud, waste, and abuse. But now the Supreme Court is stopping Trump in a major way with a lot of his agenda. So they're floating the idea now that Elon Musk could be taking a higher position in Trump's executive team in order to get things done and help bring justice and the truth to the American people. We're finding out, guys, this is how bad it's getting. That we're finding out that groups that are funding the lawsuits against Trump from deporting the migrants are coming from none other than George Soros and his son. We're also finding out that a lot of what Kash Patel, Pam Bondi should be doing is not being executed, and that we're having people from Congress like James Comer who are putting out the referrals of who should be criminally charged. This is big, guys, because a lot of people are saying, Pam Bondi, what the heck are you doing? So now there's an idea and a leak going around that Elon Musk may be taking a higher position to help enact things within Trump's agenda, as well as push people through that need to be criminally prosecuted, because he stated, one, we're going to go after the people that are funding all the domestic terrorism against the Tesla dealerships. Two, we're going to expose them. Three, we're going to make sure that Trump's agenda when it comes to giving American people back their hard-earned money through the Doge Dividend checks comes to life. The Democrats are trying every single way to stop them, but what I love is that Trump is willing to do whatever needs to be done to make sure that his agenda comes to life, and that includes promoting our boy Elon Musk to a higher position so that he can make sure things get done. On top of that, we have the criminal referral that I told you guys, because these are coming out, guys. They want to see people in jail. James Comer, who is the oversight chairman of the Oversight Committee, has now said we need to put Andrew Cuomo for criminal prosecution for allegedly lying to Congress during the select subcommittee's investigation into the COVID-19 nursing home tragedy in New York. Not only that, they said we need to go after George Soros and his son, because remember, they were given the Medal of Honor or something like that? But they have been funding all the lawsuits and the domestic terrorism against Tesla. So at least somebody wants to try to put somebody in jail, and you would think it would be Attorney General Pam Bondi, but it's coming from House chairmen like Jim Jordan and James Comer. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because again, I don't care who puts them in jail. I don't care who criminally prosecutes them. It just needs to happen. Because again, another new Doge investigation has just started. Remember, Elon said we're going to look into the highly wealthy individuals that have only worked for the government yet have added and amassed an enormous wealth. Well, guess who's next on the list? Anthony Fauci. Today, it came out, Fauci's fortune has doubled to $15 million over the past 4 years, including the pandemic. His assets soared while others lost. How was he able to double his net worth in a matter of only 4 years? Now he's next on the target list for investigations by Doge. And again, on top of that, I told you for some reason it makes no sense, but I'm reporting it, guys. Jim Jordan is now referring some of the Biden officials to be criminally prosecuted because guess what? Remember how they gave everybody this notice to show up at court, all those illegals that crossed over the border illegally? Well, they were given a notice to show up at court so that they could go through the process. Well, guess what? 500,000 immigrants have already skipped courts that came in through under Biden's administration. 507,000 immigrants that were supposed to be due in court between 2022 and 2024 have already not shown up, ghosted the courts. Nobody knows where they're at. Nobody knows who they are because they gave fake names. That is a 45% jump in no-shows. Again, the accountability is real. But thank God Jim Jordan is out there pushing to criminally prosecute these people. And going back to this is the beautiful news, guys. The update on the Doge Dividend $5,000 check. We now have multiple cities, multiple states that are coming out and saying we cannot handle the mass illegal immigration. One city like Minnesota, which I'm going to show you, has called out and said it's costing us upwards of $1 billion to pay for just the healthcare cost. And they said we would rather give this back to our taxpayers than pay for people that are illegal, that have come over here illegally. Guys, this is in Minnesota. Lots of breaking news that's happening, guys. We're here for it. The Democrats are losing, but we're bringing you the breaking news. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers. Thank you so much for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want you here. We want to serve you every day with the top news and take care of you, making sure that you see the truth, guys, and just making sure that you're 100% on board with what's actually happening. I want to say thank you to everybody that is a member of the channel, guys. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much for your continued support, and everybody that gives a super chat donation as you support us as members. Tomorrow's the big day. On the 22nd of every single month, we give back live on stream to a local charity tens of thousands of dollars, guys, with your support. So that's what happens whenever you support this channel. We're more than just reporting the news. We are bringing positive change to people's lives. But I want to say thank you so much for your support. If you don't mind doing us a huge favor, hitting that thumbs up like button, guys. We're jumping straight into this. This is real. People are finally getting, the House is finally jumping in to get these people criminally prosecuted, and it's about dang time. Check this out.
This is so classic. After the Democrats were like resoundingly rejected in the last election, they're overhauling, but not in the way that like literally every normal person on earth thinks they should. Kamala lost because she was too far left. So what does the new vice chair of the DNC do? He goes on CNN to complain about the problem that he and people like him helped create.
What's his plan to deal with our 27% approval rating? That's my question to him. The fact of the matter is right now, our party is in a crisis. We are seeing people lose faith in our party. They're losing faith in democracy across the country. And we need to make sure that we're getting people to vote for Democrats, not simply because we're not Donald Trump, but because we have a better message, a better option for them. Not simply the less bad of two options, as I think Carville tries to promote when he says, well, we just shouldn't say anything. Carville believes in a politics of being timid, of hiding. I believe in fighting. And that is what people want to see right now from the Democratic Party.
Interesting, he's saying he's the party of fighting from a guy who tried to take all of our guns. But yes, dude, you guys have like a 28% or whatever, depending on the poll. You have less than a 30% approval rating because you guys are radical, tyrannical enablers. Your senators, okay, are now, and 3 congressmen now too, are going down to El Salvador to share gelato with the wife-beating gangbanger that they deported. You jammed men into women's sports. You let millions of unvetted illegal immigrants in that raped, murdered, imported drugs.
Guys, look at this. Is this...
And caused a mass housing crisis. You're teaching children how to be trans in school. Don't even get me...
Guys, this is the problem, guys. You see all of this. They massively let an invasion happen into our country. They massively have been operating with no accountability. But that's why I want to show you this real quick, because it's about dang time, guys. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer has referred former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to the Trump DOJ for criminal charges related to his role in the COVID nursing home scandal. This is how bad it's getting. That Pam Bondi and all of her team, and nobody's doing anything. Nobody's criminally referring people. Nobody's trying to bring criminal charges. So we literally have these people that are from the House that are starting to jump in. Because if we don't stop the craziness, then who will? That's why I'm showing you what I'm showing you, because there's too much craziness and now we need accountability.
Started on what you guys did and tried to do during COVID. I will never forget the circus of that nonsense. What did you expect? Is anybody surprised that anything you do is an abject failure? Because you're the party of theory. You get your ideas from academia, which for the most part is ginned up by people who've never actually practiced what they're teaching. If they ever practice any of these applicable skills at all, matter of fact. Let's look at who's the Democrat Party right now. Who is leading the way? Who are the leading voices, and what did they produce? So you got Joe Biden, 50 plus years in government, never produced a single widget, doodad, or even a job for that matter, not on the taxpayer's dime. His Veep, who was apparently still a frontrunner now, even for another round in 2028, she may run for governor. Who knows? It's a disastrous state anyway.
Guys, if y'all appreciate this exposure of all these fake corruption, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
She can have it. Kamala Harris went from DA, where she, apparently many people said that she would spend not the needed time on cases and flounder them. She let criminals out on the street with super lenient plea deals to hurt more people. She climbed the ladder all the way up to vice president, never delivered, never had a deliverable in her entire career. Heck, she couldn't even deliver a speech.
AI is kind of a fancy thing. First of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence.
We should not be burdened by things the way they've always been. We should be looking to what should be. So the importance of community banks is they are, as they are called, they're in the community.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
I kind of miss.
Guys, did we not dodge a bullet or what? Are you kidding me? That could have almost been our president, but we were too big to rig, baby. Show your love for MAGA in the chat, guys, because I'm telling you, we got a show for you today.
Having that every day on the campaign trail to make fun of, but, not really. Then you've got Jasmine Crockett. She, if you can believe, was an attorney, a public defender at first, who then moved to her own practice, and then took over 400 pro bono cases specifically for Black Lives Matter activists. I guarantee you they were not pro bono in the end. She probably got paid somewhere for that. She had to keep the lights on. Could you imagine if you ended up with her as your attorney? I would get my affairs in order, getting ready to go to jail. And the guy who you just heard from, David Hogg, the DNC vice chair, he's barely old enough to get a rental car, and he's taking $20 million to defeat reliably blue districted, long-serving Democrats. I mean, talk about not understanding an ROI. He's never had a job, ever. He got accepted to Harvard with epically low scores comparatively. I mean, what other white guy got into Harvard with the scores that he got? I bet it's about 0. He comes out of school after making hay about taking my guns away from me and other law-abiding citizens, found some dumb political action committee, paid himself 6 figures to travel around the country recruiting young people to run for office. And after—
Guys, do you know who this sounds like? I'm telling you, this is all trying to be another 2008 again. This guy's trying to come out, trying to be a community organizer, trying to pull another Obama, and that's what they're trying to do to revamp the Democratic Party. But guys, this is the thing. Everybody sees through it. Jasmine Crockett, still under investigation by the FEC. We haven't forgot about that because she had over 50 times the amount of campaign donations to her through the organization Act Blue, which is fraudulent. Can't have that. It was way more than what it was supposed to be. And everybody is starting to see the corruption. Wait till I get to show you what's next, guys, because again, too, there's nothing they can do to hide. They are losing the floor beneath them from all the corruption that they've been living on for the past 50 years. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
$8.5 million spent. The only thing they can show for it is getting the first openly gay state senator elected in Texas. I mean, bravo, dude. He used DNC donor list, by the way, to garner a lot of the money for his own PAC. I bet that made a ton of people real happy. Another rising star, he's been around for a while, but Gavin Newsom. He hasn't met a failed government program that he didn't love. He cleaned up the streets of his own cities for the Chinese president. Wouldn't do it for the taxpayers, but he did it for the Communist Party. Bankrolling hospitals to pay for illegals' health care. Building rail bridges to absolutely nowhere. Failed green energy projects. He's got crime and drugs and high taxes. The #1 state in the U.S. for a business exodus. He's the guy you're putting out there? Okay. But what's crazier And this should probably tell you everything you need to know about the party. The woman, more likely, according to Nate Silver this morning, he said that AOC, the bartender, with a business degree from Boston University turned Democratic Socialist or whatever that means, this woman is the front runner for 2028.
I hope, guys, I hope she is. You know why? Because this person wants to spend $100 trillion on the Green New Deal, on green energy, on climate change, $100 trillion. We're $37 trillion in debt right now. Yet, on their logic, most common sense people would say, you are crazy. You want to spend almost 3 times the amount of money on trying to fight climate change than to actually take care of our seniors, take care of our single moms, take care of those that are on SSI. Guys, this is the craziness we're dealing with. But this is also, remember, being funded, I'm going to show you in a moment, funded by George Soros and his son. We already got the evidence, guys. This is what we have to be careful of because, again, too, we know they will import immigrants to get them to vote. We already have the evidence.
The Democrat Party. Nate all but guarantees her as the next presidential candidate for the Democrats. Her own district is a dump. There are hookers everywhere. There's gangs. There's drugs. Lady, you can't clean that up? Your district, right there, you can see it on the map. Your district's mostly water and wetlands. You have like the least amount of actual real estate out there. And you can't stop your streets from looking like a scene out of the Star Wars bar? Are you gonna run for president? Okay, this is gonna be awesome. Can you imagine? Look at who would she probably be running against. J.D. Vance, by all likelihood, the former Marine, Marine. I know a lot of Marines don't like to be called former. I consider myself a former SEAL, but hey, whatever, respect. Venture capitalist. He actually created jobs and wealth and opportunities. This guy he's the one that Tim Walz tried to make catch on that he was weird. J.D. Vance is the most normal human being I think has ever been in politics.
And one of the most American. Pulled himself up by his bootstraps, came from nothing, went to Yale, got into venture capitalism. One of the youngest VPs ever, guys. I think he would be a great president, but let me tell you this. Every single turn, they're trying to make him look bad, but he is one of the most American people out there, served his country. Again, common sense, crazy. Democrats are crazy. We're trying to bring common sense back, but it just blows my mind what they say about this guy for everything he's already done for this country.
But he's really smart. I mean, really smart. How's that debate going to go? So, and I look at this. The voters rejected Democrats, okay? Thank God. Democrats are going to double down. This is the problem with our political system, too. And also why the Electoral College is so important. Because there's no blue states, only blue cities that sometimes have more population than the rest of the state. And the values of somebody who...
Look at that, guys. This is you can't make this stuff up. This is a true fact map from wikimedia.org over where the electoral votes are by county, not by state. I would say 90% of the United States is red. That's why, again, too, guys, it makes no sense when we look at our elections and they're as close as they are. This is 100% the voting demographic of America.
Lives in a big city, doesn't own a car. There's not a single gas station anywhere near most people in the city, like here in Manhattan. So most people in the cities don't even see gas prices. They live in high-rise concrete buildings that are maintained by a superintendent, walk or take public transportation to work, live in a 400-square-foot box, and have absolutely no connection to the means of production of the products they consume. Versus people who own a home and maintain it themselves. They drive a car every day, so they have to fill up their gas tank. They maintain land. Many plant crops and grow their own food. They hunt. Vastly different lifestyles. And the Democrat Party has dwindling support outside the cities. West Virginia didn't have one single county go blue. Remember, Joe Manchin was from there, the Democrat senator. And instead of realizing that, they're doubling down on what people in places like AOC's district, some of whom are high as a kite or a criminal, telling the rest of the world what their priorities should be. That's why.
Guys, again, I've got to show you the receipts. If you appreciate the truth, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, check this out. So now there's investigations coming from Jim Jordan on what you're seeing here, which is that over 507,000 immigrants ghosted their immigration court dates between 2022 and 2024. You mean to tell me that these illegal immigrants that came over illegally are not going to follow the law and show up to court? 500,000 of them have no idea where they are, no idea who they, if they're ever going to show up, don't even know if we have their real name, and now people are being held accountable, guys. Listen to this. I hope you're sitting down. You are going to love what I'm about to show you next. This is one of the most beautiful moments of truth being exposed on the internet with our friend Pocahontas, Senator Elizabeth Warren, over the lying and corruption that happened under the Biden administration. Listen to this.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
At a loss for words, has no idea what to say.
Said I had not seen decline.
If you love this guy, show your love in the chat. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's play that real quick. Look, she says, I had not seen decline. And then the guy's like, come on, man. Come on.
Seen decline. And I hadn't at that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that. You know, the thing is, he was
Lost
sharp.
for words.
He was on his feet. I saw him. Live event. I had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet is not praise. He can...
Do you see this, guys? This is why Jim Jordan is going after Biden administration officials, because they can't say anything. They have no basis for the lie that they carried out for 4 years over Biden's mental decline.
Speak in sentences is not praise.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh!
Do you regret saying that
Fair enough. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm super excited. Things are coming out. Just like I showed you earlier, Attorney General Pam Bondi refers Andrew Cuomo for criminal prosecution for allegedly lying to Congress. Things are happening, guys. Michelle Lindsay, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. And Alex Fox for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. Hey, if you got a membership from Alex, show him some love in the chat. Let's go. Guys, things are happening. We are exposing them. Right now, the Supreme Court is being paid off. I just said it. I'm sorry, I just did. Look, let me show you one image because they're investigating, they're looking into it, and guess what? This is popping up. Soros-funded groups are behind lawsuit blocking Trump from deporting migrants. What more evidence do you need? We're seeing the corruption right in front of our faces, and it's disgusting, everybody. It literally blows my mind that nobody can say on the Democratic side this is wrong. And I want to bring there's more to it, guys. There's more to the facts. Check this out.
This is a very disappointing ruling by the Supreme Court. Now, remember, it's just a temporary order saying that the government can't ship out these Tren de Aragua and MS-13 terrorists until the court further rules. But I don't know how the court even thinks it had jurisdiction to do what it did late on Friday night, on Good Friday. You had these ACLU plaintiffs who essentially put a self-imposed deadline on the district court in Texas, giving the district court 45 minutes on Friday to rule. And then the ACLU moved forward with an appeal to the Fifth Circuit, which divests the district court of jurisdiction. And then the Fifth Circuit has indicated it was getting ready to rule on this matter, and then the Supreme Court used the emergency dockets impermissibly. They didn't have jurisdiction to issue this stay under the All Writs Act. I mean, Justice Alito's opinion is spot on, that the opinion that Justice Thomas joined, to me, it is a total head scratcher that the three Trump justices who made many assurances to the Trump administration that they're going to be constitutionalist and originalist and they're going to follow the law. I don't think they did that on Good Friday. I don't think they did that when they failed to join this opinion. So you have to ask why. Why was there such lawlessness and cowardice by the Supreme Court? And this is
I'm telling you guys, we're seeing the money involved. These justices are not acting normal. They carried out this blocking of Trump's order after midnight. When was the last time that we had a ruling that happened after midnight? Guys, none of this sounds right. All this sounds fishy. Everybody is like, where's the investigation? Something needs to happen, because there's no way that consciously you would say, common sense, that sounds right.
A very important question, because this goes to the heart of the Supreme Court's legitimacy. President Trump campaigned on the fact that he is going to secure our border and he's going to deport illegal immigrants. They are all criminals, right? He's going to especially focus on Tren de Aragua, foreign terrorists, and MS-13 gangbangers. And President Trump is doing exactly what he promised American voters he can do, and he's following the law. It's these lawless judges on the district courts and now the lawless judges on the Supreme Court who are just making up the law as they're going. They're essentially becoming judicial activists, telling the president that he has to halt planes. How long are they going to hobble the president in his ability to get these foreign terrorists the hell out of our country? What process is due, and why are we so concerned about Tren de Aragua terrorists? Why can't they file habeas petitions? So here's the bottom line. This is what President Trump needs to do. He needs to round up all these illegal immigrants. He needs to detain them in Texas or Guantanamo or wherever he wants to detain them, and then they can sit in that holding pen until the Supreme Court figures out what due process is due to these people.
Guys, y'all think that this is going down without, like, I'm telling you, the fight is on the next level. We just got some breaking news moments ago, guys. I got to show you this. A judge has now blocked New York City Mayor Eric Adams from allowing ICE onto Rikers Island. So not only are they trying to block Trump and trying to deport them, now a mayor over his own city who said, hey, ICE, instead of letting these criminal illegals out into the streets and then you got to go try and get them to deport them, I'm going to let you into the jails. I'm going to let you so that you can get them in the jails and nobody gets hurt. They're going to be in the chains so that you can properly transport them without having to try to chase them down like what happened in that other city where a person got tased and a person got shot because they let somebody out and they took off running and it just got crazy. Now a judge has officially blocked them in New York City. Something has to happen with the Supreme Court or to give a ruling, because these judges are now targeting mayors over their own cities. Guys, this makes no sense. Who the heck is running our country? Because what it seems like, it's judges.
For peace and type of President Trump, when you see AOC, and now she's like the overwhelming, polling lead to head the Democratic Party. Hey, I love it. Do it. When she's doing the oligarchy tour.
Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much for the support.
And President Trump is taking down the oligarch apparatus in federal courts, one in Northern Virginia, one in D.C. on Google, to take them apart. In addition to Zuckerberg, with Zuckerberg being a supplicant to him, to take apart Facebook. It's heroic. No one's ever done that, ever. President Trump is doing it and doing it right now. Of course, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to give him any credit. But it gets back to also the platforms and the apparatus of censorship. This is the reason they could censor us, right, to take us to deplatform. It didn't stop the growth of the show, but this is what they try to do. Natalie Winters.
Well, and let's link it all together. I think the growth of new media, the growth of shows like War Room is not just inextricably linked to the legacy media, not just failing at their jobs, but intentionally colluding and collaborating in some cases with government-backed censorship operations. But it's a result of weak Republicans, right? War Room wouldn't have to step up and stand in the breach if elected Republicans at every level of government were doing the things that we were actually hammering them to do. I think immigration is probably the best example of this, and that's sort of what we get into in this piece, which has to do with the idea that the same elites who, for how many years couldn't cover anything going on down at the southern border, right? They didn't care about 10 million plus illegal aliens. Let's ask Bear Stearns. It's a lot higher than that. But now they're triggered by a couple of new media reporters entering the White House briefing room, right? The same briefing room that you need an ID to get in, that they have beautiful walls and security protecting them, right? These are the same liars who have hid behind really an Orwellian censorship industrial complex for how many years? They've been calling our audience nativists and xenophobes for saying, you know what, sorry, in my version of the social contract theory, I don't think my own government should be working to replace me and suppress my wages with immigration policy. But now they have a couple of new media reporters, right, who have to stand on the side of the briefing room, and they can't even compete. Right, I think an MS-13 member, I say this truly, we saw the questions they were asking about Kilmar Garcia. He would be better received than most members of MAGA. They will treat MS-13 with more nuance, frankly, dignity, than they have members of the MAGA movement than the way that they treated President Trump. It is absolutely reprehensible, and it goes back to the core issue of why we all got involved in this fight. Just like the establishment Republican wing of the establishment wing of the Republican Party doesn't get to dictate what our policy is on immigration, the media elites who are all walking behind me, and I hope they can hear me, they don't get to dictate what the American people are going to be force-fed about what the Overton window is going to be when it comes to immigration. I don't care about MS-13 members getting deported. I hope they have very uncomfortable flights. I don't care if they're on the wrong ones. I give zero, you know what. What I do care about is legal immigration, getting these people deported, and that's what they should be asking about, not acting like PETA commercial actors over an illegal triple threat, an illegal alien, a woman beater, and a gang member. But I guess that's apparently who these people support.
Guys, I'm telling you, like, what I love is more than anything is the exposure. So I remember I told you, people are starting to wake up. People are starting to say, whoa, why? Like, no, that's too much. That is way too much. It's one thing that if you're trying to block, some deportations, you're trying to do this, but when you start going after every single mayor, when all these cities are starting to say, hey, guess what? We can't afford to pay for all these illegal immigrants. So a judge has now blocked New York City Mayor Eric Adams from allowing ICE back onto Rikers Island. This is one of the worst things ever. These rogue activist judges are trying to control the United States. But guess what just came out of Minnesota? They're looking at their budgets and they're saying, hey, guess what? We can't afford all these millions of illegals. We thought that there was only this many. Well, guess what? It's 3 times the amount that are living now off taxpayer benefits, and we don't even know if they're paying taxes. This is the awakening, everybody. This is what we want so that people realize common sense policies. Check this out.
This year, Governor Walsh has proposed more than $1 billion in cuts to nursing homes and services for families with disabilities. But he has stood by and continued to support taxpayer-funded health care for illegal immigrants.
You hear that? I'm going to cut over $1 billion for nursing homes, my own citizens, but I'm still going to spend $1 billion on illegal immigrants.
The cost estimate for free health care for illegal immigrants was $220 million in the February forecast. However, we have some new information that we're going to share today that shows that the costs will far exceed these initial estimates. 3 months since this program started, enrollment is triple what DHS estimated it would be for the current year. For fiscal year 2026, DHS estimated 5,784 enrollees. By April 1st, total enrollees have exceeded 17,000. We should not be surprised by this dramatic increase because this program creates an incentive for illegal immigrants to come here to Minnesota. Only a handful of states offer comprehensive taxpayer-funded health care for all illegal immigrants. We could easily see the costs of health care for illegal immigrants that are funded by taxpayers exceed $600 million over 4 years. Unlike nursing home and disability services, Minnesota Care for illegal immigrants is not eligible for a federal match. If we redirected this funding to nursing homes and disability services, it could have a more than $1 billion impact because each dollar saved on illegal immigrant health care is turned into $2 for nursing homes and disability services due to the federal match.
Do you hear that, guys? Like, this is the common sense that is taking over in a state like Minnesota. They're choosing to do what? Deduct $1 billion to go to nursing homes and those on disability in their state because they get a federal match. They would rather say, give me the illegals and I don't get the federal match, and then I've got to pay 3 times as much. But this is where all these coalitions are coming out and saying, you know what? Common says, take care of Americans. Put America first.
Legislative Republicans are proposing to put the most vulnerable Minnesotans first in these budget discussions. Minnesota Democrats are putting illegal immigrants first.
Guys, this is happening all across America. And that's what I'm saying. Check this out. This is what Donald Trump posted. He said, how can Biden let millions of criminals into our country totally unchecked, unvetted, with no legal authority to do so, yet I ordered to make up for this assault to our nation am expected to go through a lengthy legal process separately for each and every criminal alien. As usual, 2 different standards, only leading to the complete and total destruction of the USA. Make America great again. It's a double standard. Chip Trap, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go, bro. Appreciate you. Y'all show Chip some love in the chat. This is why, again, where are we at? The Democrats are losing it. And now they're getting exposed. And most of America, you saw, is saying we want common sense policies. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check this out.
The Democrats are getting close to hitting rock bottom. Only 25% of Democrats say they are confident in their party's leaders in Congress, making it their worst polling result in over 2 decades. And now Congressman James Clyburn is blaming the media for their dumpster fire numbers.
I think the message that comes from the Democratic Party is a good message. The problem we've got, Elsie, is that we have to depend upon the media to deliver it.
That comes as James Carville clashes with DNC Vice Chair David Hogg over Hogg's $20 million campaign to boot ineffective incumbents.
He's a contemptible little twerp.
Carville believes in a politics of being timid, of hiding. I believe in fighting.
It's the most insane thing. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, antiquated. I'm not part of the hip generation. I'm not very au courant. But I actually thought our job was to beat Republicans. How quaint of me.
James Carville has not won an election since before I was born. I think it's time to have new leaders in our party.
Since we ended on that, I'll start with that. Okay, so Carville and Hogg, I love this disagreement. Carville goes after him, Greg, and he says he's using money to go after Republicans. He should be using the money to go after Republicans and not Democrats. And as an officer of the DNC, he's violating his fiduciary responsibility by primarying Dems.
I don't care about either of them. They're both contemptible. One's a nitwit and the other one's a nitwit. Let him have it. I think they're dating. You know, watching Clyburn blame the media is like blaming the bank when you overdraw. You know, maybe they can't cover their debts. You know, they covered you for Biden's condition. They covered you for Kamala's competence. They covered for you when you were saying Trump was Hitler. You know what? The media is dying. The bank is dying. They can't afford to cover your debts. His complaint is unfair because it's not like the media doesn't want to get in bed with him. They do want to help. They really do. It's just that now we all get to watch, right? We've all been red pilled. We can see them together now. We know the patterns. We know when they're lying. So it's going to be hard for the appeal of this party to return because the mainstream media is no longer, it has its grip on the public. When it would push a hoax, it would go through the same, typical channels. Start low, go high, blah, blah, blah. But that pipeline has been crushed. A hoax gets smothered, before it can get out of the crib. I don't think the Covenant Kid story could happen now. I don't think the Fine People hoax could happen now.
Yep.
And I think that everybody has been burned by COVID, the Biden cover-up, that they do not.
Exactly, guys, because I have to say this. Every single thing that happened over the past 8 years, Russian collusion, the Hunter Biden, the Fine People's hoax, everything happened and was able to happen because the media was on the Democrat side. Now everybody looks at the media as nothing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The truth is podcasters, YouTubers, some Fox News and stuff, but everybody's seeing it beyond the mainstream media. Let me know your thoughts. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button. Guys, this is where things are changing forever. But again, too, now that the Democrats are using these rogue judges, this is where the next level fight is going. It's going to the courts.
See, the media is trustworthy, so they couldn't sell Clyburn's stories if they wanted to.
Dana, the amazing thing is Clyburn says their message is a good one. And do you know what that message is?
No. And I don't think they do either, and neither does the media. I mean, as Greg said, they want to help. And I also think that the generational divide between the Hoggs and the Clyburns and Carvilles is quite stark. And the Republicans have been going through this political realignment. The Democrats are going through theirs now, but even more so generationally, which is pretty interesting. And if you think about the leadership, the poll is about Democratic leadership. Of course, it's polling terribly. There is no leader. And Hogg and Carville are actually both right, but one is irrelevant, but both have very bad ideas. And if I can understand why the Democrats would be mad. Like, imagine asking a Democratic donor who's worked hard all week, is not a big mega donor, okay? And you say, we get $250 from you this month because we really want to, we got to do a lot of things for the Democrats. We got to do a lot of things for Democrats so we can fight the Republicans. And you find out that it's actually going to a primary situation that is going to make it harder for the Democrats to beat the Republicans in the general. How dare you take their money? I think that's despicable.
The fact that the Democrats, Jessica, are not able to accept responsibility and basically say, we don't have a message, we don't have a leader. I mean, doesn't it mean that they're going to stay in the tank until they kind of address the elephant in the room?
Well, I'm with Greg. Watching these two fights like watching women's boxing. They're both 130 pounds. The fighting's bad, and I don't care who wins. Clyburn, he himself is a problem. He's the one that gave us Joe Biden. He blackmailed Biden to have a DEI VP.
Yep.
He was part of that coup and then pushed Kamala instead of an open primary, and then they got wiped out. And he's blaming the media. Permission to make an analogy.
Please do.
This is like the Democrats are a chef who cooked disgusting food. The media is like the food critic that keeps on lying to everybody about how good the food is. Now, they don't have any more customers, and the critic has no more readers, and the chef, instead of changing his recipe, wants food critics fired and rehired with better food critics. It has nothing to do with the food critics. You cook disgusting dishes. You need to stop using influencers and celebrity appearances and flashy music. Just cook better food that everybody likes. Jessica, there's a saying, it's called all sizzle, no steak. Read about it.
Guys, let me tell you this, because I got to show you this again. This is actually one of the things that, again, it's going back to holding people accountable. And now, guys, when these Democrats are going out and trying to push their agenda, they're getting called out. And because they're answering the way that they do, it's now getting used as evidence that people conspired with somebody that was pulling the strings on Biden to allow him to be in office, even though he was not cognitively there. We did not have a president. Watch this again, guys, because this is now going viral, and they're saying, like, this is what can be used for evidence.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline.
That's horrible. Guys, you cannot make that up, guys. Look, I said I had seen decline. Look at her face.
Not seen decline. And I hadn't at that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that. You know, the
Guys, lies, lies, lies. But what I love is that what I'm about to show you next, accountability starts in Congress. What I'm loving is, again, the justices of the Supreme Court, something is going on with them, guys. Listen to this.
Do you believe that some justices are for sale?
Yes.
And if so, which ones? Mr. Payne, let me start with you, sir. You're kind of in the middle here. You work for the Campaign Legal Center, is that right?
That's correct.
Is your website campaignlegal.org?
Correct.
Okay. Does not the front page of your website say, I'm going to quote here, I want to get it right, the current U.S. Supreme Court is a threat to our democracy. The current U.S. Supreme Court is a threat to our democracy. Did I read that right?
What I can say is that our organization...
But is that on your website?
I am not certain exactly what's on the website.
Here it is, right here, big as Dallas.
What that refers to is the voting rights voting rights cases of the Supreme Court. Our organization is a voting rights organization that fights for all Americans that have the ability to vote.
Yeah, but you got to click a bunch of times to find that explanation. I just want to make sure I read that correctly. A few months ago, Mr. Payne, you retweeted the following statement. Some justices are politicians in robes who thrive in a system where access and influence are for sale. Some justices are politicians in robes who thrive in a system where access and influence are for sale.
Dang.
Now, that's a pretty bold statement.
I'm sorry, Senator, is that a news article?
No, sir. That's a retweet here. You tweeted this out. Tell me which justices are for sale.
I don't recall that tweet, but...
Here it is. November 21, 2022. Can you tell me which justices are for sale?
Dang.
No.
Are any of them for sale?
No, the problem is that the American public has a perception that some justices may be.
I'm going to establish the point first. I want to know, you tweeted this out. Do you believe that some justices are for sale? And if so, which ones?
No, Senator, I do not believe that justices are for sale.
Then why'd you tweet this out?
Can you provide more context of what that is?
I'll get you a copy, but here it is.
Boom, baby.
I checked it and triple checked it. You also said less than a month ago that John Roberts, you retweeted this out. John Roberts is a disgrace.
No, I
disagree with Justice Roberts. Well, you didn't call him Chief Justice Roberts. You called him John Roberts.
No, this is...
You retweeted this.
No, Senator, I did not retweet that.
Yes, sir, you did, right here.
I will need to see. Can you provide a copy to me now? But
Sure.
I did not.
Guys, if you appreciate when people get called out, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, this is the truth. This is what they don't show you on mainstream, that all these people, these Democrats, they literally lose it. They want to speak big words on all these other platforms, but whenever they're actually held to the truth, there is no truth with them.
Can you tell me why you think Chief Justice Roberts is a disgrace?
I did not say that, did not retweet that.
Oh, okay. Maybe Twitter got it wrong.
Someone got it wrong.
Let me ask you this, because the unstated premise of all this, sometimes it's stated, but the unstated premise of all this is that some justices have been bribed. Let's just cut to the chase. Okay? Now, let me stay with you, Mr. Payne. Well, let me go to Mr. Fogel. I don't want to just pick on you, Mr. Payne. You can be looking up on Twitter where you said those things.
Ooh.
On April 4th, 2019, the American Civil Liberties Union paid for Justice Sotomayor's trip to San Juan, Puerto Rico. You ever been to San Juan, Mr. Fogel? Is it expensive?
I keep forgetting. Well, it depends when you go.
Yeah. How much you think it costs to go down there?
Depends whether you fly first class or economy.
What if you fly first class?
Oh, probably a couple $1,000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
The ACLU, do they have cases in front of the Supreme Court?
All the time.
They do, all the time?
Sure.
Do you think the ACLU was trying to bribe Justice Sotomayor?
No, sir, I don't.
I don't either. But that's the unstated premise of all of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, Senator, if I
all
may...
these articles about Justice Clarence Thomas and the Chief Justice in the United States and Justice Gorsuch, who sold an interest in an LLC to a Democratic donor who had never met, that they bought him, isn't it?
May I say something in response, Senator? I think there are two things going on here today. I think there is a political conflict, which is, as I said earlier, it's very intense. It's hyper-partisan. Both sides have things to say. And then I think there's an ethical issue.
When you accuse people of being bribed, it kind of gets their attention.
Sir, hold on a second. I'm not accusing anybody of being bribed. I'm not.
But some people are.
Some people are. The reason I'm here is I think that there is an ethical issue that, as Senator Graham said earlier, it would be good for the court to think about in terms of being more transparent. That is what I care about. That's the only thing I care about. There's a lot of political back and forth that's very interesting. I'm very interested in it as a citizen of the United States. But I think the most useful thing that this or any other committee could do is think about how do we make our institutions...
Well, how are you going to do that in the context, though, of one of our leaders, for whom I have great respect, going on the steps of the United States Supreme Court, telling two justices if they vote in a way he doesn't like, they will pay the price and reap the whirlwind. And you have another one of your witnesses here tweeting out stuff saying, quote, some justices are politicians in robes who thrive in a system where access and influence are for sale.
Yeah.
He said they were bought like a sack of potatoes.
Okay, I'm not going to comment on that, Senator. That's not anything I had anything to do with. So,
did I hear the gavel?
Thank you.
Guys, let's go. Holding them accountable, guys. Look, I hold everybody accountable. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Trump. I will hold you accountable if you say something different or if you go back on what you said. But this is a big one that is literally blowing up X like crazy. Guys, because again, CNN has lost all credibility with what I'm about to show you right now. Check this out.
President Biden has spent days locked in intense preparation, surrounded by his closest advisors at Camp David. And our sources are telling us tonight that full mock debates are underway at the podium, under the lights. He's even watching tape to know exactly what he's going to see when he steps up to that lectern. His team shot a video during a walkthrough of the CNN studio. And as I reported while covering him at the White House, when Biden prepares, he does so incredibly intensively.
So just how worried were Biden aides before the former president's disastrous debate last summer? According to Ron Klain, his chief of staff, his concerns could not be overstated. At his first meeting with Biden for debate prep, quote, Klain was startled. He'd never seen Biden so exhausted and so out of it.
Wow,
Biden was...
Are you serious? This is the same network talking about the same person, President Biden. That's why I tell you guys, it's so important with the internet nowadays, with these videos, when people especially a platform like CNN, you're going to get caught. When you get paid to say things, this is what happens.
Unaware of what was happening in his own campaign, halfway through the session, the president excused himself and went off to sit by the pool. Part about the pool, he went off, this is in the middle of debate prep, went off to the pool and he took a nap.
President Biden has...
Y'all hear that? Biden's over there napping. Look, I got to give credit to Trump or give credit where credit is due. Because when Biden said Sleepy Joe, this dude was not lying. Everybody's coming after the Trump administration. So Trump froze all the funds going to Harvard. Why? Because Harvard was not following the policies that was set by the Trump administration. Now they're suing them. Guys, it is a battle of the courts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Should a college, university that has $53 billion in its endowments receive $750 million from taxpayers? Doesn't make sense. Sherry Garcia, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. And thank you so much, guys, for your support. Anna Diaz, welcome to the family. Y'all show them some love in the chat. Every single day that we expose all this, right now, what are they trying to do? They're trying to say we're going to go into recession. Not even close. Listen to this.
The New York Post this morning says that a lot of small businesses laying people off and closing. And I saw an interview with a baby equipment manufacturer who says that his tariffs has gone from 17% to 27%, and he doesn't know how to fix that. So, but you're telling small business people, don't panic. Okay, why not?
Well, because the vast majority of what they're facing will be temporary, and or you can pivot and try to source your goods somewhere else, whether it's domestically or one of the other countries where the tariffs aren't quite as high. There's a lot of ways to do this, and of course, if all of your competitors in, say, the baby whatever manufacturing is there, if all your competitors are buying in the same place, then it's a price increase to the consumer. It doesn't put the company out of business. Companies seldom absorb taxes. They pass them on to consumers in higher prices.
Okay. There's a new survey. It's 62% of us, of top CEOs, that is, 62% now expect the economy to enter a recession in the next 6 months. Kevin Hassett told Larry Kudlow he sees no recession. Where do you come out on the recession question?
I actually have no idea. My perception is that most of this tariff negotiations are going to be wrapped up fairly quickly, and it's going to end up to the benefit of the United States economy. There's no question about that. If it is done quickly, then there's no recession. If it drags out for a year on the vast majority of these negotiations, it could slow the economy down. That does make sense. But this is not a crisis. It's not a drama queen thing.
Guys, I want to show you this chart because this is super important. Trump's tariffs, who's offered concessions? Right in the middle. Who's retaliated? Canada and China. Yeah. No retaliation. Mexico trying to negotiate. Japan, one of the biggest ones. I think Japan is going to happen this week. But this shows you guys, where do people ultimately stand? Canada may be to the north of us, but without us, Canada can't do anything. Has no protection whatsoever. They need us more than we need them.
Market's having a temper tantrum because the market doesn't like uncertainty, and this represents uncertainty.
You think we're going to win the tariff war?
Based on the guy doing the negotiating, it looks like we are.
Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Dave, I want to get to your new book. It's called Build a Business.
Guys, I'm telling you, every single piece of evidence that is coming out on screen. Don't tell me that the reason we haven't seen things come through our leadership, let's say with Pam Bondi and all them, because there's things happening behind the scenes that they don't want you to know. How do you handle all this? How do you hold people accountable? When a senator, guys, we're not talking about just anybody. We're talking about a senator comes out and says that they are actively destroying crucial Epstein, 9/11, COVID, JFK files, guys. This is the corruption in the United States. This is why people don't trust the government. This is why people have the lowest approval rating for Congress right now in the 20%. This is why people wanted Trump, because we know there's something going on that's not right. And we need to protect America from, if we're going to continue to be the greatest, this cannot continue to happen. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you ever think that this we'd be knowing this? It's one thing for it to happen. It's one thing for literally senators to come out and say that it's happening, guys. That's the problem that we're in right now. And not only that, guys, it just keeps getting deeper. We say all the time, when is it, like, what's going to happen next? Who's going to be held accountable? We're trying to make sure we show you the truth in every facet. But when I show you this stuff, with what I'm about to show you, it's fear tactics. It's they're trying to control the narrative. It's not happening.
Now, in the absence of a positive agenda of their own, they're trying to scare Americans and legal immigrants into thinking that if they get, I don't know, stopped for speeding or maybe you have too many unpaid parking tickets, you could risk ending up in a Salvadoran Supermax prison.
It is a government-funded kidnapping, plain and simple. Gilmar, a father of 3, lived in Maryland for over half his adult life. He had legal permission to stay in the United States. No one is safe in Trump's America.
No one is safe. And the Academy Award goes to
fear-mongering
Congresswoman Dexter. Now, first off, Albrego Garcia was an illegal alien who 2 courts had determined was a gangbanger. His case had been reviewed by 2 judges who rejected his arguments. Now, he and everyone else who was here illegally should have never been allowed in and should have been deported years ago. And as for the line that no one is safe in Trump's America, well, that's partially true, but not the way the Congresswoman intends it. If people are unsafe, it's not because of President Trump. It's because of the open border nightmare that the DC Uniparty inflicted on our beautiful country. Now, we shouldn't even have to be talking about how we're going to deport Biden's 11 million illegals. We shouldn't have to be talking about how ICE can track down the thousands of illegal felons here and then remove them from our communities. Or how to find the 300,000 missing children who cross the border.
So sad, guys.
Or how to get nonviolent illegals to self-deport using that app. And we shouldn't have to explain to parents why their kids' schools are overcrowded. We shouldn't have to tell small business owners that, look, you might have to face organized theft rings of illegals. Look at the smiles on those TDA members. Our city shouldn't be reeling with serious illegal alien criminals hiding in plain sight. Just a few days ago, we learned that of the 206 illegals arrested between April 6th and April 12th in New York, ICE says more than half had significant criminal convictions or are currently facing charges for crimes like murder, assault, arson, rape, drugs, and illegal firearms. That's all. One is a foreign fugitive wanted for crimes in his home country, and one has a homicide conviction in the Philippines.
Guys, it's all about the fear-mongering. Look what they're saying now. Think about this, guys. MSN, I think she's on CBS or MSNBC. Yeah, MSNBC. MSNBC host says Black American citizens next in line if deportations are allowed to continue. Are you freaking kidding me? Seriously? They don't have a filter anymore. They're losing it. It blows my mind that they're allowed to even say this on air, trying to spread fear, trying to spread chaos into America with their lines. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I'm telling you, people like this need to be held accountable. You cannot outright say that Trump is going to deport American black citizens. Are you kidding me? This is mind-blowing that this is where we're at in America. Want to say, guys, thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News, guys. We want to take care of you every day with the top news. It means the world to us that you support us, that you're here, that you share these videos. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, You like these videos? It really does help. We want to bring the truth, and we want to show all the receipts, guys, of what is actually happening in America. Not just one news network. We want to show them all. But we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for just being here, guys. Remember, tomorrow is the big day. The 22nd of every single month, we donate live on stream to a local charity. When you give a membership, when you give a super chat, we take that money and we add money to it, and we partner with you and we donate. Guys, we're donating tens of thousands of dollars to local charities, changing lives, and you're seeing it live on stream. So you know that it's happening, guys. That's what I want to bring, the truth. I want to change lives. We partner together, guys, and this is such a blessing to so many people. I want to give some love to our members. I want to give some love to those that give a super chat donation. Michelle Lindsay, Alex Fox, Raymond Brosius, Chip Trapp, Sherry Garcia, Anna Diaz, Ty Matt Chong. Let's go. Y'all showed them some love in the chat, guys. We are here to serve you. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.